polygrief, something that is not talked about often, but many of us experience it. Polygrief basically is many griefs when you have compounded loss on top of another. And remember, we grieve all losses, not just people. We are entering into the third year of a pandemic. And this pandemic has just been undescribable. Yeah, loss of jobs, loss of homes, loss of lives, loss of security, loss of familiarity, loss of family, loss of connection, loss of finances, just loss upon loss upon loss upon loss. And it has a name. It's polygrief. And it can happen at once or, in a short span of time. And it just seems, with all that's going on in the world, it just seems like it's just one loss after another and after another. Polygrief is like singular grief. It's not that it goes away, but it does go through the stages, and some may last longer than the others. And you weren't. And this pandemic gave you the opportunity to really go into the field you love. So your grief of that was really short, but maybe you also lost something else and you went through that grief a little longer. So you can go through the loss differently for each one, but it will diminish as time goes on, as it does for all grief. Grief never goes away, right? You're always going to have a sense of loss, a sense of emptiness when you think about that person, when you think about that thing, but it does get better. The thing about polygrief is understanding what's happening to you, realizing why you feel this way, right? Maybe it explains if you're having some indigestion, some pain. Grief can come out in many different stressors, shows up in many different ways. You might not feel like going anywhere. You might not feel like doing anything. When you understand what's going on, when you put all the pieces together, then it kind of makes you feel a little better because you know what's happening, and then you know what to do about it. And now that you know what's happening, allow the process, right? Let's get through, most people know the 5 stages of grief, and I've seen more that there's studies of 7 stages. Whatever the stages are, grief has a process, and just allow yourself to go through the process so you can get to and get through. And above all, you guys know what I'm going to say. Please, that's the way you get through it. That's the way you get through all grief. Matter of fact, that's the way you get through life. You just keep going. Yes, some things may slow you down. Some things may hinder you, but don't let them stop you. Whether it's singular grief, whether it's polygrief, you can get through it. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are people here who love you, people here who care for you, people that have suffered similar losses. You guys can carry each other through and help them say, yeah, you know what? I had that happen to me, but I got through it, and you're going to get through it too. And while we're going to keep going, I'm going to keep going too. Next week.